right, it is time to do the Block 1 poll vote. These are always hard to do because, man, scheduling. Who's played, who hasn't played. We'll have to look and see. So, I was trying to do my due diligence. I have all the top 25 teams have a tab open. So we'll look. Not for what you're thinking, because I can hit plus and see what games they played, but what their schedule is for Block 1, because everyone has 2 buys. That's something important to note. So I'm going to move this all the way to the end, because that is the top 25. We're going to start with LSU. So, they have not played their game against Troy yet. It is Saturday. Still got about 7 or 6.5 hours, 7.5 hours until the polls close. I'm not going to punish them for not playing this game. I'm really lenient early in the season because people are getting, acclimated to their teams, all that stuff. It's fine. So LSU will stay number 1 for me. That does not change. You can click off of them. Number 2, Oklahoma. They played Nebraska. I watched that game. I also am not going to punish Jiggy. There is no UTEP coach, so there is no way for him to play this game. So he does not get punished for this. Make sure that I click Oklahoma and not accidentally Oklahoma State. Cool. 2 gone. Tennessee. They win both their games. Beats Texas Tech. Beats Virginia Tech in a very close game. Very competitive game there. Fun watch. Tennessee, number 3. Goodbye. Georgia. A bye week, see? There you go. A bye right there. Have not played New Mexico State yet. Again, not going to punish them for not having played that game. It's still early in the season. Once teams start to play games, I think that'll start to even itself out, so won't punish them. Pretty much, I won't punish anyone. Hit the wrong thing there, didn't I? Somehow I messed that up. Back into the poll vote. Oh, anyway, the top 4 are going to remain the same for me. That's the moral of the story. So I got to go in and do it again. So LSU, number 1. Oklahoma. Tennessee. For Georgia. All right. South Carolina is 5. They have not played. They will stay. Six is Florida. I know he played both his games. I got to see them. Big Mike will stay at 6. Now, going forward, so there's a couple of guys that haven't played, have some missing games. Kind of have to, because you have to look into the scheduling. Are they the reason the game hasn't been played? It's too much. It's early in the season. Again, some people have bye weeks. Not really worried about it early on, but as the season goes on, it's a concern. Texas. Well, I assume Matt Daddy wasn't available, so that hasn't been played yet. Texas will stay at 7 for now. 8 is Colorado. They are 2-0. Big wins on the road, beating UCLA. Yeah, they're beating the hell out of Pac-10. Big, whatever the number is now, the Big Ten. 2 wins on the road, impressive, especially winning at the Big House. I don't care what Michigan has on their roster in comparison to Colorado. I know Colorado's a little OP on this game, but still, winning on the road there is really tough to do. All right, week 9, Shell only had 1 game, beat Cal. So far, the top 10 looking the same. Iowa, 2 blowout wins, beating his rival Iowa State this time. I believe he lost to him last season, or lost to a different coach, but lost to Iowa State last season. Beats Louisiana Tech. So the top 10, for me, no one moves. We're going to see some movement here soon, though. 11 Notre Dame, 2 ranked wins. But this is hard for me because he has 2 ranked wins, one on the road, one at home, both convincing wins. So would I move Notre Dame up? I think this is what makes it hard for me personally, because that's 2 impressive wins. You can't have 2 more impressive wins than that, 2 ranked wins. But how far up would I move him? You know, put him over Iowa? Would I put him over Oregon? I think in this instance, I'd probably drop painful to Iowa, but I mean they'll have opportunity to make it up. I would move Iowa down 1, and then we'll put Notre Dame there. Gotta make sure that's not Iowa State too. At least they move into the top 10. 2 ranked ones are impressive. All right, 12. Miami. Only 2 games, a loss, getting shut out. So I'm going to slot Miami down to 18 for now, just so they're out the way. But they will stay in my top 25. They're just going to move down. UCF, 2 wins. A 14-point win at Washington, and then a 21-point win versus Northwestern. Coach Smitty doing his thing. Move up to 12. $14 is Clemson. They haven't played a game yet. Let's see. A bye week and at Minnesota. Keep them there for now. Penn State. A bye, but a loss to 6 feet. I saw the recap of that game. It's a little bit rough. I'm going to slot it down at 20 for now. Quarterback, Mr. Allen, just went haywire. Okay. Ohio State hasn't played yet. I'll keep them at 14. Or move them to 14. Bama, a loss. Losing to Colorado State. Ouch. At home. Ouch. Florida International is the other game. I am probably going to drop Bama out of the top 25 for that. I mean, they're 17, but to lose at home, and I know it's just a 3-point loss, but to lose at home to Colorado State, there's a huge skill gap in terms of talent, and there's a huge gap because you're playing in one of the toughest places to play. That's a very hurtful loss. Very, very hurtful loss. So Bama's going to drop out for me. Louisville, only 1 game. And a rivalry game at that. They get the win. So they'll move up to 16. Pains me to say that as a fan of Kentucky. UConn only played 1 out of 2. Hasn't played NC State yet, but he will move up to 16. We can close him out. Nebraska. It's another tough one too. You know I'm a big Nebraska fan. Sitting at 20, 2 losses, both at home. The Oklahoma loss was a hurtful loss. I was watching that game. It's a tough one. The Notre Dame one is the one that was the really damning loss, because the Oklahoma one, you get up for that game. It's a rivalry game, and you're right there. You play right there. Just a couple of plays separate you from a win. And it's almost like the air just got let out the sails against Notre Dame. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. A bye week coming up, conference play coming up. I'm sure MGR will get back on track. But man, that hurts to lose in that fashion to Notre Dame. So I think for me, it'll be the same thing. They're sitting at 20, 0-2. It is 2 ranked opponents, but man, that's tough. That Notre Dame loss is a tough loss. San Diego State, only 1 game. Oregon State, taking care of business, 35-point win. So San Diego State moving up. Go Aztecs. Setting at 17. Close them out. Utah, only 1 game. Close game, but a win at Appalachian State. They will move up. Miami will still sit where it's at. I will have Utah at 19. Then you have 20. They're going to have some spots open here. Michigan, 2 losses, loses to Notre Dame on the road, and then loses to Colorado at home. So he's going to drop out the top 25. Kansas, bye week, and a loss to Wisconsin. Drop out the top 25. Virginia Tech, ouch. 1-point loss to Tennessee, a close game, and lose by 14 to Big Mike, but they were sitting at 25. They will drop out as well. And then we have to do some hunting here. So looking at the teams underneath, you have Ole Miss at 26. So let's open up the SEC and see what their schedule look like. Boss Ranger. You've got Boise. I guess we'll go do the same thing here. You've got Boise there. Kentucky. This is where it gets tough. So it's like technically I shouldn't be dropping teams if I'm going to go by the method I have for the top 25. I'm not dropping or penalizing teams for dropping or for not playing games. Normally I go off of the coach poll and then adjust. But then if we're looking at teams like Ole Miss, Boise, or maybe like Baylor, Iowa, Central Michigan, Auburn, maybe not Auburn. It's kind of tough because you have teams that haven't played a game yet. What am I supposed to do with them? Like Baylor, they're 29. Technically, they would move up by default. What am I supposed to do? Well, Ole Miss sits right now where they sit. Have a win against Memphis. He'll be playing his dad soon. For now, though, we're going to do something a little bit different because I'm going to look at something else. I did have Central Michigan. I'm not going to pull up my previous poll, but I did have Central Michigan in my poll. So I'm going to move him, and we may have to relook at how I do my polls. I may have to go off of my poll, but then still have to go grab teams from underneath too. Makes it a little bit difficult. We've got Florida State, which I believe I ranked Florida State. Can't say 100% for sure. Wins against Georgia Tech and Boston College. So already getting some dubs in conference play. Big block coming up next, Oklahoma and Cal. These 5 will be tough. I'm going to put Central Michigan at 21. Florida State's coming into the poll. Ole Miss also comes into the poll. Personally, for me, yeah, I put Ole Miss in there. See what he does against Texas State. Boise, big one against UMass. This is weird to have a team that's 1-1 in the top 25. It'd be one thing if they were in already, but to move a team up into the top 25 is tough. Same reason why I wouldn't vote myself in the top 25 right now. Auburn, Vandy. Anyone else stand out? Duke, Arkansas. It's just tough to tell because it's still early in the season. And that's really what makes this super, super tough. Well, if we go to standings, let's just go to the power conference teams. Florida State's in. Colorado and UCF are in. Got a couple teams that are 1-0. Wisconsin is not. I'll click on them. Middle Tennessee State 2-0. Good there. I've got Central Michigan in there. Fresno State's 2-0, but it's not. It's a group of 5, so hold off on that. Arkansas, Auburn. Like, I'm not trying to put the entire SEC in the poll, but I feel kind of like given the options there, this might end up being that. Wisconsin beats Kansas and beats NC State. Two close ones. Okay. Arkansas beats New Mexico, beats Western Kentucky. Auburn beats South Florida and SMU. Vandy beats USC and UNC. Kentucky beats Texas Tech. Big game lurking in South Carolina, and I already have Florida State. Oh man. So kind of tough. Wisconsin has a ranked one, so I actually won't put Ole Miss in there for the moment. I'll put Wisconsin. They have a ranked one. Auburn win against a power conference team. Vandy with 2. It's just tough to tell because I don't know. Like, you don't know enough about the other teams just yet because it's still early in the season. Arkansas has 2 wins, but they're against group of 5 teams. Auburn has 1. South Florida, yeah, group of 5 team. And then Vandy has 2 power conference wins. Kentucky has 1. Man, this is tough. In this instance, I think I'll go Vandy. And I will go Ole Miss. It's a tough top 25. The next one, I think, will be a bit easier.